hello to all of you. Welcome into the Eric Zane Show podcast. It's a daily show where I discuss news, nonsense, and my personal adventures each and every day of the work week, Monday through Friday, right here. The show originates in the Impact Power Sports studio. You can find them online at impactpowersportsmi.com. Excuse me. It's going to be a rough one today. I can feel it. You can shop for a Yamaha golf cart tricked out to your specifications, your exact specifications at Impact Power Sports. They also deal in side-by-sides, UTVs, ATVs, motorcycles, e-bikes, scooters, go-karts, snowmobiles, lawnmowers, everything. Power Sports, complete service department for you. You can find them at 14 Mile Road in beautiful Rockford, Michigan. Today, it has just been announced that in that big trial that I've been talking about for quite some time of the former cop from right here in Grand Rapids, Michigan. This story is not only big around here because it happened here, but, you know, anytime you've got one of these stories, it tends to get a lot of legs in other places too, and because it could happen anywhere, you know. It's interesting. Cop gets involved in a scuffle with dude after he pulls him over. Dude is black. He is white. Scuffle then results in, while the cop is on top of the guy is face down. Cop pulls out the gun, shoots in the back of the head. Dead. Horrific video. It's out there. You can see it. I don't want to play it. You know, it's really bad. The dude was there. He's Congolese, by the way, this dude, Patrick Lyoya. His pal was with him shooting video of it. And right on the front lawn of somebody's house on this chilly morning when it all happened 3 years ago, you see the cop. You know, the cop's completely gassed out as they're struggling. The taser hasn't worked. Cop is exhausted and says, "All right," and then pulls out the pistol and shoots a guy in the head. Excuse me. As Amanda announces her birthday. Come on, man. Anyway. Nick says, didn't he grab one of the cops' weapons? Well, that was a big point in this trial. Because the argument was self-defense and the cop feared for his life. While the guy was on the ground face down, he was able to get his hand on a taser that had already been used. Like you get like 2 shots with it. Those little wires come out, the probes. And then I guess there is still some capability for that taser to do damage. But not really sure who believed what and what actually stuck during the trial. But I bring this up now because they just announced that there's been a mistrial. Like the jury couldn't come to a decision, so for like 3 straight days they've sat there and deliberated. And they couldn't, come to an agreement about the guilt or innocence of this cop. So now that's it. It's a mistrial. Right away, people are asking, well, what does that even mean? I mean, I had to look it up. And I'm guessing that this is accurate. Stand by. Again, I'm still not 100%. It's going to be a big cough drop day today. I can feel it. And I'm ready. When a mistrial is declared, the current trial is terminated and declared void. Didn't happen. meaning the previous proceedings are not valid. The case can then be retried, but with a new jury. The prosecutor may choose to retry the case, but a judge can sometimes disallow it. Here's a more detailed breakdown. A mistrial effectively halts the ongoing trial before a verdict is reached. No verdict is reached, neither a guilty nor a not guilty verdict is rendered, meaning the defendant is not legally free or convicted. The prosecutor can choose to retry the case, but a judge can also decide to disallow it, especially in cases where the jury is hopelessly deadlocked. A hung jury, which, by the way, that is what our pal Nick in the arena predicted all along, a hung jury. He was correct. As much as it pains me to say that. New jury is needed. If the mistrial was not caused by a serious error or misconduct, a new jury will be selected for the retrial, and there is potential for dismissal. The prosecution may also decide to drop all charges against the defendant, ending the case without a new trial. Like if you're that dude, the prosecutor, Chris Becker, and he's like, oh, fuck. Well, I mean, I don't know. We might have another hung jury here. And then that would result in him deciding, I may not want to try this one. And then the guy, that's it. It's all over. Now, I was just watching the local TV station. Intensely boring discussions about this. Like they bring in like some law expert from Cooley Law to like sit there and who loves to listen and hear their own voice and say and speak all the time. It is fucking terrible. Holy shit. The only thing anybody cares about now is what time the riot starts. And right now, I would give it about a 65% chance that a riot happens. And that may go up or down based on things said and, well, just a lot of things. Stand by. I got to drink this coffee. Now, if I'm the cops, I am preparing for the riot. If I am the cops, I can't wait to get out there and kick some ass. You then are given the right to live out your Grand Theft Auto dreams. Just go out there and kick some ass. Because you've got every mutant that is out in the street destroying people's shit. So what you got to do is you got to get out there and kick some ass. Full armor, tear gas, batons, and in fact, I wouldn't even send them out there with firearms. I would just send them out there with everything but. And just, fight for your life. Get out there and you break up this riot and you break it up fast. I want TV coverage everywhere, eye in the sky, so we can check this shit out. Now, if I'm the chief of police, I walk in as these cops are getting ready for game time. And I'm like, all right, the plan of attack is this. The first thing that we're going to do when beating these mutants, go for the kids. If you find children, take them out first. And they're like, what? Huh? Are you kidding me? No. There's a method to the madness. If it's made clear that the cops are willing to even kick ass on little kids, that might give the rest of these more dangerous fucks reason for pause. In fact, I'd have a press conference and say, look, being that the riot is starting right now, all of us are going out there to kick ass on the children first. Kick ass, and then we're going to work our way to the bigger folks on the food chain to keep this deal in check. I'm not sure. I think the shit hits the fan here. The odds go up, a higher percentage of a riot, depending on whether the prosecutor decides to drop the charges or go on with a new trial. And I don't know the timeline or how that is going to be. If they want to avoid any type of catastrophic riot, it might be prudent to not say anything. Not yet. People are already pissed off that it's a mistrial. So if you follow that up, like in the next 10 minutes with, we're going to drop the charges. That's as bad as a not guilty verdict. And these people are going to lose their shit. However, if you wait until, I don't know, Monday at like 10 a.m., and then the word gets out, the mutants might actually lose interest. These aren't the brightest people that would cause this to happen in the first place. Time is on your side. The slower you announce these things, or don't even announce it. Just declare that you're dropping the charges, and then let the media figure it out on their own. If you are the media, you could make this a lot less painful. TV stations, radio stations, and just don't report on it. The less information, the more confusion, the less chance for riot. But who wants that? I know I don't. I am actually voting for riot. The more chaos we have, the more exciting this weekend is. Murder lover Linda says Karen Reed's prosecutor announced immediately that she'd be retried. Idiot. Megan asks, is dropping the charges an option? Yes. Two things could happen. The judge could opt to not do a trial, or the prosecutor could drop the charges. Man Bun Chris says, that's right, set the tone early. Go for the kids. The easy approach. Yeah, if you're going to tromp through the city, destroying people's businesses, you gotta play rough. You gotta get into the dirt with these scumbags. So that's what's up right now. Nick says the only job easier than being a cop is a teacher. I agree with that. Essentially, if you're a cop today in Grand Rapids, your instructions are, hey, what do you want me to do today, boss? Kick ass. Those are pretty simple instructions. You get out there in the street, and the objective is simple. If you see a person, you bash their brains in. If they're dumb enough to be out on the streets during riot time, well, then they're going to get their ass kicked. It's kind of weird, though, that in a police brutality case, the outcome is ultimately going to be police brutality in dealing with the rioters. Excuse me. I'll be keeping a close eye on the news to see if there is any type of shenanigans going on.
Has left the courthouse. We just learned that from Brittany, that he has already left. We don't know if Patrick Leoya's family is still there at the courthouse at this time. No problems outside on the sidewalk outside the courthouse. We have seen people on both sides supporting Leoya as well as the thin blue line supporting
All right,
Christopher
these two
Scher.
going live is
And I
they've
will
had to
say,
fill a lot of time.
They're every day.
Sure.
And I will say, there
Interruption.
every day during this trial, there were Stand with Sure supporters, and only at the very beginning, and then as we got closer to possibly having a verdict, that's when we started to see more Justice for Leoya supporters outside the courthouse.
Because there's a lot more white people here than there are black.
But today it's been very quiet.
Yes, and because it's so early, I think when it was, about 9:30, I'd say, or just after.
But even the other day, by 7 o'clock, I was down there outside, and there were quite a few people. And then today, at that same time, there was just a small crowd of
All right, so that means
Sure
easy
supporters
pickings for the
holding
cops.
the flags and standing
See
outside.
these cops right
so
here?
We'll see what happens throughout the day.
These
of course,
guys are
and you
itching
can
to
see
get after
the
it.
presence that we have from our sheriff's deputies, and there's a police presence, and they have kind of
That one
spread
big
things
guy
out
there,
in a way that they
he's
don't
gonna
normally.
get.
I was chatting
they're
with
going to arm him with
few
a,
of those deputies.
a
I said, "Are
mace
you usually down here at the
with, like,
courthouse?"
spikes
And they said, "No. This
to
is
swing
one
around.
of them is a detective."
These guys
and he
are
said, "Yeah,
talking
this
to
is
that
not what I
construction
normally
worker.
do."
They're saying,
So
"Yeah,
they've
go
had
home for the
to
day. We're about to beat the
adjust
shit out of
because
everybody."
Of
This
how much
cop's showing
attention
up
this
on his
trial
bike.
has been getting, and what they anticipate
He's going to be riding
in terms
around
of happening
shooting
outside
people.
the courthouse as well.
Yeah. Live images right now of downtown Grand Rapids.
Okay, so I think that
We
these reporters
have just learned that there has been a mistrial
are
declared in
like,
the
all right, we want you to
former Grand
fill
Rapids
time.
police officer,
And
second-degrady murder
then when the
trial of
riot starts,
Christopher
you'll already
Scher.
be,
so we are
talking.
waiting to hear
So,
some
but they're
of
like
the
bummed because there
response
isn't any
and
violence
reaction
yet.
to the mistrial. The jury on Tuesday said they were deadlocked, and the judge talked to the jury.
All right, now I can't take too much of that. You get about a minute or two, and it's important to note that if you really wanted to have some fun, they should have hired me to report on this, because I would have been down there trying to get people to, ignite the whole thing, to erupt, so that I would be actually involved with starting with the actual proceedings of ass kicking. Nick in Houston says, has that lady been at Wood TV for 30 years? I swear she was on TV when I was a kid. Yeah, that's Susan Shaw, by the way. She's been there a long time. Very dear friend of mine. Very sweet. Jeremy says, or Tyler says, cops work a lot, though, the opposite of teachers. Jeremy says, yeah, but 95% of their job is related to acquiring donuts. That's true. Chris says, the jury just wasn't sure. Idiot. Tyler says, we all know Easy would make anything more interesting than it usually is. Jeremy says, I actually disagree with Easy a bit on teachers. They are overpaid, but their job is hard. It's hard to resist beating children for an entire school day. Well, the best teachers are the ones that actually do beat the children. Donut Dan is here, former donut eater. He says, good point on the donuts and cops thing. LOL. Folks, last night I was closing up shop in the household here. Lights going off, doors locked. Probably 9:20 p.m., just a sliver of daylight left. Virtually none. And I noticed somebody walking up my neighbor's driveway. And he had with him an iPad that was illuminated, so that's what caught my eye, the light from the iPad. And that at the end of the driveway was one of those things that you always see people who are going door-to-door sales getting to and fro with. One of those two-wheeled fucking things that they stand on. And I'm like, oh, shit. Megan says, was he riding a Segway? I think that's what they're called, right? Those Segway things, two wheels. And I'm like, there is no fucking way He is going to bang on my neighbor's door at 9:20 p.m., right? But he did. And I'm like, oh, no. That means I'm next. Bob says selling pest control. Yes, you are correct. This is the season, I guess. I'm like, what kind of asshole is walking around at night? It's bad enough just going door to door in broad daylight. And I always have this look when they're there, like, I don't, part of me wants to, you're in a rough spot when the door-to-door salesman, I don't know, what do you prefer, door-to-door salesman? I should probably start with this next time. Do you prefer I tell you that I am not interested in anything, or do you prefer me to let you speak your piece and then I will tell you that I'm not interested? What would you like? Give them the option. So I hear this guy doing a spiel, and it's the same with any industry. You know, Mr. So-and-so, my neighbor, so-and-so in the next street, he just signed up, which means that's good news for you. Because if I can add you to that same day, that lowers the cost as a group. So what was this amount? I'm going to give it to you for this amount, and I'm going to take care of all these bugs. And look, and the guy's like, my sweet neighbor Matt is being polite. He turns him down. Guy turns around. Now, at this point, I have made it out of the house. I am seated on the porch because I'm assuming he's going to bang on my door. He turns around. He sees me, my shadow, my silhouette on the porch because it's dark. And as he's running off of that guy's porch, he goes, I'm coming to you next. And I go, good. I mean, he has to know that everybody hates him, right? Introduces himself. He starts doing a spiel. He's seated on my porch next to me. I tell him once that I'm not interested. He is undeterred. He's telling me more. And at this point, he notices the look on my face, which is this one. And he goes, are you okay? And I go, yeah, I am. I'm just listening. So that's weird. And at one point I said to him, he goes, am I taking up, is this a bad time? And I go, well, and I explained to him that I saw him going up my neighbor's drive, and I came out here just to, like, keep him from banging on the door. And he goes, hey, that's smart. I said, yeah, the dogs would go nuts, and everyone's asleep. And they were. And he goes, that's smart. I wouldn't have knocked, though. I mean, it's late. And I'm like, well, wait a second. You just 90 seconds ago, you banged on my neighbor Matt's door. So I don't know how you could possibly say that. I'm guessing you were going to bang on mine, too. Now, I wanted to say, yeah, dude, it's too late. Whatever it is you're doing, I don't give a shit what it is. You can't be banging on people's doors at 9:20 p.m., 9:26 to be exact. So he talks for about another 25 seconds. Says, all right, so I'm knocking down the price. I'm going to get all the spiders, all the ticks, all this, all that, all the other thing. What do you say? I said, I'm not interested. Thank you for coming, though. He goes, okay. Walks away. I go, what the fuck, man? That moment when he says, are you okay? I was like, well, yeah, I'm okay, man. I'm listening to you. I don't know how it's shocking that I have a weird look on my face. It's dark. I don't know you. You're sitting on my porch telling me about how you're going to kill all my bugs. And you're trying to get me to spend money at 9:25 p.m. You fucking asshole. Megan says, I wish a no soliciting sign would work. Do you have one on your property? Because I don't know what's keeping me from putting that up. And if they see that, do they just ignore it? My God. He hops on his stupid thing and then he whisks away. God damn. Yeah, don't trust those fucking bastards. Megan says, I do not have one, but my friends in our neighborhood do, and they get ignored. If you go to a house that has a no solicitation sign and you then solicit, in my opinion, that's just going to result in something horrible. There's no way that can work out, you know?
This time, no consensus, there was no way to reach an agreement. We don't know what the mix was with the jury as to whether or not how they couldn't reach that verdict.
I cannot believe they are making these people stay on.
A unanimous verdict, that's the main thing. Live images right now of the courthouse.
Yeah, there's nothing. It's
looking
empty.
right at the Kent County Courthouse right now.
They got the camera there. There's not one protester.
Awaiting a news conference.
You can't even see a person.
I'm struck by how quiet it's been down there, given how many people have been outside the courthouse.
They thought it was going to be an ass kick.
2 weeks as this has all been
happening.
happening.
Happened, so they're being told, yeah, just stay on, just in case.
No, basically, we're just moving on, really. This is it being a mistrial.
Or perhaps they're making plans for later in the day. I guess we won't know until then. But
yeah, there's nothing to talk about.
What we're waiting for now is for the news conference inside the courthouse.
They are hoping
where we expect to hear
for
from
some
the attorneys
type of
involved
violence,
in this case, and then the Loyola
so that
family
they can
has their lawyers in
have
the civil
something to
case,
talk
Ben
about.
Johnson and Ben Crump.
And they want to be ready. Yeah, it just so happens that right now, everybody is just relaxed. Nick says it's like they are disappointed there was no riot. Perhaps it's the time of day. I mean, if this had happened Friday at the end of the day, everybody might be ready then to party. And the cops might be ready to kick ass. But they're moving on. All right. If you are watching this show on Facebook or YouTube, just know that today is a Big Fraud Thursday. Coming up tonight at 6 p.m., we have another edition, show number 54 of Who Are These Free Beers? Followed by the Ben and Eric Patreon podcast. There's a lot of moments that I have for today's Who Are These Free Beers that I could play right now, just as kind of like a little teaser. And a lot of my clips feature these remarkably boring moments of, wow, how is it that this passes off as content on a radio show? Like, how annoyed would you be if I talked to you for any length of time and it didn't have any type of impact or punch or anything interesting whatsoever? Like the fact that I had a guy on my front doorstep yesterday at 9:20 p.m., 9:26 p.m., banging on the door saying, I want to sell you some fucking pest control. That's great. That shows you how much better I am than anyone at storytelling. And I decided that I was going to talk about it. First of all, it happened. Second of all, I talked about it. I decided to talk about it. Now, if it had resulted in nothing, I wouldn't have talked about it. But I felt that there was enough there that I could use it as a story. You know, spend a few minutes, no big deal. Steve on the Free Beer and Hot Wings show decided, hey, guys, I've got this great story that I want to share with you. Each and every day, 2 or 3 times a day, each show member says, hi, I'm so-and-so, and this is what's going on in my life. It's moments like this that brings us things like, all right, list of condiments, and we're going to tell you if they belong in the fridge or not. This is what Steve did just the other day on a syndicated radio show heard all across the United States in 50 medium to small markets throughout the country. This is what he talked about on their show.
Hi, good morning. I'm Steve, and my daughter, Evelyn, she's in pre-K, so she is just in the early stages of reading, recognizing words, knowing all of her letters, and reading, which is really cool to watch. But Nikki is just getting into wanting to be read to all the time. Now, we read to them every night because, of course, we do, because that is what you do. When you are raising a child, you read to them on a regular basis and help them when they are trying to read to you. Mm-hmm. And but I've read the same train book about 300 times in the last week. And I know all about the different trains that go through Siberia and the locomotive big boy trains and the ones that can be up to 5 miles long with all the cars that they pull.
Oh, yeah.
But yeah, I really enjoyed that. That's a lot of fun.
Hi, I'm Maitland.
That's it. I enjoy reading books to my son or my daughter. You asshole. The conscious decision that this is what I'm going to talk about. I have decided that this is interesting. Steve writes, goes nowhere. What the fuck? Oh, I've got a lot of examples of that today. Jeremy says that is not a story, Steve. Holy fuck. Piano Finger Banger says, when Steve first started at GRD, someone described him as having leaf blower voice, and I've never heard anything more accurate. No, it's true. It's true. Not only that, there's nothing interesting going on in that fuckface's life. He's a goddamn loser. What a fucking asshole. Ben describes him as King White Noise. Donut Dan says, how would you like to be a guy or girl just starting out in radio? Probably not going to retire with that nowadays. No, are you kidding me? Oh, my God. I love Adam writing, shut the fuck up in all caps. Cole adds, it's funny how it's former show member Justin's segment that they beat the shit out of him when he suggested it. Now it's their whole show. All right. So that is just a sample of one of the many examples I have of these ridiculous segments that these idiots do on a daily basis. In fact, I have an example of Free Beer not listening. I have the Free Beer and Awkward report from the guys' show in Albany, New York, while seated in front of a packed house. They busted out some throwaway nonsense that goes nowhere about a dude who has a pet otter. I've got a clip, Real Talk with Kelly Cheese, about how her clothes fit. And if Kelly's clothes talk doesn't impress you, we have another example of how the show is in touch with stories that everyone is talking about as Greg breaks down a story about digital coupons. I am not kidding you. This is all things that happen on the show. Let's talk digital coupons. You fucking idiots. Holy shit.
Rounded about the video.
Okay, I'm trying to see if they're actually doing anything on Wood TV. Oh, they might have bailed.
And showing that
Nope,
Patrick
there it is.
Lyoya was trying to get away all the time. But then it really centered on the taser and whether or not that was going to be used.
Okay, they continue to struggle here. I am really shocked at how they are letting these people twist in the wind on this. They've been talking for as long as I've been doing. Just before I started doing my show, they went live. And now they're forced to break it down. I don't even have anything to talk about that trial, and I'm the one saying that the cops need to go out and beat the shit out of the children. I mean, I can't sit there and talk about it anymore. Who is the goddamn news director that is ordering them to keep it going? Get out of it. Put on The Price is Right. What the fuck? Excuse me. All right. Where's Jiha when you need her? Says Chris K. Branjo says, has our pals Free Beer and Hot Wings become a Jerry Seinfeld routine from 1989? What's the deal with digital coupons? Ugh. Anyway, Ben Glaze and I will be going over that. Ben has his clips. I have my clips. We'll share them. We'll spend 1 hour doing Who Are These Free Beers? 6 p.m. Eastern on my Patreon, patreon.com/Eric Zane. Episode number 54. It's live at 6 p.m. We do the show live. You can watch it with us if you are signed up on Patreon. So what you do is you sign up right now for free. You get a 7-day free trial, no questions asked. What you do is you go to patreon.com/Eric Zane. Sign up for 7 days free. You do have to put in a payment form when you do that. It's a credit card, your credit card. Right after you do that, cancel it. And then you get the 7 days free, and then there's zero chance that you will be charged at the end of those 7 days. And then you can enjoy the show, worry-free, risk-free, 7 days, all of my content. And again, that's show 54. So if you've not yet taken part in Patreon with some of the other Who Are These Free Beers episodes, they're all fantastic. You can get those and kind of dive into the programming right there for a week without even worrying about it. And then a week goes by and you're like, oh, I think I want more. Oh, no, I canceled it. Oh, well, that's simple. You just go back into your profile and toggle on your card, and then that gives me the permission to charge you either $5 a month or $10 a month. $10 a month gets you first crack on all content, all the videos, all the live streams, and the $5 a month is all of the audio. So you get it a little later, a day or two later, and it's just audio. patreon.com/Eric Zane. And if you really want to save some money, because if you were to pay it month by month, Tier 1 is $60 a year. Tier 2 is $120. Sign up for a full year, and I will take 10% off. So what was 60 is now 54. What was 120 is now 108. See? I got it covered. Everything. After the Patreon, we're doing the Ben and Eric Patreon podcast, where we're going to get an update from Ben Glaze, who had something really terrible happen to him. And it's no secret now. We talked about it last week. But this is such a pile of shit. The publication Grand Rapids Magazine came out with their best of 2024 or 2025 or whatever. And you can vote for the best whatever. Tacos, bar, comedians, and Ben Glaze was nominated. There was several people that were on there. And I suggested everybody vote for Ben Glaze. Now, the timeline works out where Ben, during the voting, hadn't really done a lot of comedy, so it was interesting that he was even on there. Even more interesting, when Ben received word from Grand Rapids Magazine that he won. He is the number one comic in West Michigan. And we laughed. Stu McAllister was also in the running for it. He did not win. Ben won. Ben went and purchased tickets for their gala event, which it might have already come and gone, because he was so happy. He wanted to be there to see and hear his name announced as the number one comic as voted on by the audience. His mom, his dad, his stepfamily, his grandparents, his wife, his nieces, his nephews, friends, family, former radio colleagues. Freeburg and Hot Wings were going to be there to help honor Ben. Everybody paid like $500 a ticket for this black tie, red carpet affair. Ben's sweet wife had this plaque made that he hung up in his house for like a shrine, announcing, if I sound terrible, I got a cough drop in my mouth. It's a huge event. He's for once, Ben is a winner. You know, he got the name Loser Ben for a reason. Because he's a huge pile of shit. But not when it comes to this. He's the number one comic in Grand Rapids. Of the 2,000 tickets that sold for the event, Ben was responsible for about 400 of those tickets. The magazine comes out, it's actual physical publication. And he's there with his wife, and it was like Shadur Sanders' draft party. He's got hundreds of people in his living room. They open up the magazine, and Ben didn't win. Some crazy bitch won that no one knows. So Ben called Grand Rapids Magazine and said, "Hey, what's going on?" They said, "Yeah, it was a typo. You didn't win." And he was very confused. And we all think that the fix was in. You know? So that was bad. He's brokenhearted. And now, with all that money spent on tickets, it would be a good idea for them to give the money back. But I don't think that they are. Chris says that the banquet is tomorrow and that our pals Hot Wings and Kelly are going. Ben says if Hot Wings and Kelly are going, it's probably best I'm not. No, you got to go. You got to go and do like an interview. I tell you what, you go and we will live stream your interaction with Kelly and Hot Wings. Did you get your money back, Ben? I tell you what, don't tell us now. Don't tell us now. We'll talk about it on the Ben and Eric Patreon podcast. Holy shit. Yeah, you should definitely go. I'm wondering if they have made any headway on Wood TV.
What is going to happen with prosecutor Chris Becker? What charges if he's going to refile this case? And I think that's a lot of the anticipation, right? I think a lot of the community activists on the side of the Lyoya family want to see this case tried again, right? They want to go after it again for a second-degree murder charge. But again, what we're waiting on is that this is a polarizing case, right? This jury had indicated from as early as Tuesday that they were deadlocked, and we'd heard this was a split jury.
This is all Riot Watch
as
on
they
the
were just
local
debating
TV
to
news
see,
station, Wood TV.
what decision they would make. Does prosecutor Chris Becker charge? And I think if he doesn't retry, I think you might see more of a response from community activists.
See?
Just like you said earlier.
What he's saying
with the
there
fact that
is
they
you'll
had
see
marched,
more of a
for
response
days and weeks after
of a
waiting on
riot
charge to be filed.
if
So I
they
think
say
a
no
lot of
more
what we're waiting on
trial.
is
Like
what's going-
if
what's
Chris
going to
Becker
happen
says,
next.
I'm
And
not
I think
going
a
to
lot
do
of
it
the
again.
activists on the Lyoya side
And
are
they're
waiting to see
ready.
if Becker
Here's
is
the
going to
same
charge.
footage
So
of
I
the
think
cops
that's what
on
a lot of people
standby
are watching
getting ready to
here.
beat the shit
And
out
we'll
of
just keep an
people.
eye on that, as I know a lot of people on both sides are. Back to you guys.
Okay, there's the
Thank
activists.
you.
These guys, these mutants.
As we mentioned, Teresa, it really is a waiting game, just to wait and see what the response is going to be from the attorneys, especially Kent County Prosecutor Chris Becker.
And we are supposed to be hearing from Ben Johnson and Ben Crump, civil attorneys for the
Okay.
Lyoya family. They had said that they were
These
going to
are the
hold a
guys that
virtual
can pour
news
gas
conference
on
at
it.
11 a.m. It's 10:59.
That's a good thing. If we can get Ben Johnson and Ben Crump to pour some gas on the fire, then we might see the fireworks that we deserve. Ben Crump, you see that guy all the time. Piano Finger Banger says they're acting like this is the OJ trial. Well, I think that it's fair to keep an eye on it to see if anybody's going to start. Any of the mutants are going to start to riot. But I wouldn't do it live. I would be ready to bust in on Mutant Watch. Maybe in the evening. But my God, Badger says News 8 would love blood. Yeah, who doesn't? If it bleeds, it leads. All right. I'm bouncing all over the place today. I don't know what the hell I'm doing. Thank you for watching the show. Like I said earlier, I didn't even kick anybody out. Twitch and YouTube. But check me out on Patreon a little later today with Ben Glaze. 7 days free at patreon.com/Eric Zane. Also send me an email, eric@ericzaneshow.com. That is the Shoreliners striping inbox. They stripe parking lots. They're awesome. They take care of the inbox and sponsor that. So thank you. And, we've got plenty more show where that came from, but thank you for being part of this.